hey, Sean, I don't want the whole channel to be these preachy, meditative videos about what I'm thinking and philosophy, but I do have one that I want to make, sort of explaining where I am and where I want to go and what the content on this channel is going to look like moving forward. But before I can make that video, I have to make this one. And this one is it's a simple one that is, what is the value of hate? And it's this question I've come back to, and I touched on it in my video about Christianity and discrimination, and in the US government and discrimination. And I was left with the question, like, what is the value of hating someone? What do you get by telling someone no, by excluding someone from something? What is the value of that? And the only thing I could come up with was greed. I don't want them to have something so that I can have more. And that was the only real reason I could come up with it. It was greed and ignorance. But I think there's a third thing that fuels hate that's a really common thing, and it's why we hate things. And I wanted to go through sort of the three categories of hate as I'm imagining them, and we'll just call them small, medium, and large. But I think people in a lot of cases hate things for a reason that may not be apparent at first. But large things to hate are to me like groups of people or ideas. And this is where racism, ageism, sexism, but especially racism and homophobia come in. And it's not even homophobia, but that gets at the issue. But discrimination against anyone for what they believe, what they look like, where they're from, anything like that. And the problem with this big hate is that it a lot of times turns into policy and affects all these people without ever giving them a chance, without ever getting to know them. The individuals who have this big hatred end up writing off just large swaths of the population, and it's unfair. And my only solution for this is twofold. I think you need to strive to understand similarities between yourself and people in this group of people whom you're writing off, and ask yourself, do you fit in perfectly with the group of people that you look like, or that you act like, or that you think like? Because I think we're all individual and we all have some of the very same goals in mind about what we want our day-to-day life to look like, and there's community there. And taking a moment to step back and say, this may seem wildly repulsive to me, or you look a certain way and I've never liked people like you. Why would this be different? And taking a second to intentionally say, no, I'm going to listen. I'm going to try to understand. And the other part of this is ideas, where this big hate, you can hate groups of people. But the other thing, the big thing you can hate is ideas. And a lot of times these are rooted in these other isms. But like, there's people who hate the idea of gay marriage, and they'll say, we don't hate gay people. We hate the idea of gay marriage. Marriage is and this is just another one of those examples of take the time to understand both sides of it, and which side of it hurts less people. Which side of it, if you approach it with love, can you understand these ideas a bit better? And so striving for that understanding, and then furthermore for the absence of fear from these things. And if you detach yourself from the fear of saying, like, why am I so closed-minded to hearing opinions about X, and insert any issue. Why are you closed-minded to hearing ideas about racial equality? Why are you opposed to hearing ideas about some police departments being good? There's always going to be something that people will argue with you. And if you're going to ask people to believe in you and listen to you, you have to take the time to understand them. And I think that's the biggest one, because that's what stops conversation. Right now, we have this political divide in our country of conservative versus liberal, to hyper summarize it. And if we just instantly say, if you support Trump, I hate you. I cannot understand why you would do that. You must be an awful person. And what do we gain from that? As someone who does not support him politically, I don't dislike someone for liking him. I'm curious. It makes me genuinely curious of why, what happened to an individual at whatever point during their life that message, Trump's message of hate and attacking people and being, unapologetic, that resonates with people, and it doesn't resonate with me, and I need to understand why. If I want to understand these people, and if we want to have community, and if I want to remove this hate and this anger and this fear, and that needs to happen on all sides of it. And so take the time to say, not only we disagree, but I want to know why. Not what the disagreement is, but I want to know why you've come to understand the things. Is that you have a different set of information, a different set of facts that you think support this, other than the facts that I think support that. And so take a moment to approach these things and really seek understanding and really try to set aside your fear, because it's probably a bigger part of your hesitation than you're willing to admit if you're anything like me, and odds are you are a little something like me. The second group is what I'm going to call medium hate. And medium hate is bullying. Medium hate is when it's not a whole group of people. You're not necessarily writing off any, but somebody trips. This is the elementary, the high school humor of somebody trips, somebody does something somewhat embarrassing, and you jump on it. And you jump on it for the sake of, comedy or whatever, and you keep bringing it up, and people don't live these things down until long after they've graduated, and that has this impact on people. But this medium hate is when you pick one person, to hate, and not writing off a whole group, but picking that person and latching onto behaviors and not giving them a chance. That's this other part of hate, and the solution is somewhat similar. Of you just need to be patient and think about it. Flip the tables. Like if you did something that opened you up to ridicule, much like these people have done that you are attacking, or you're watching other people attack and not saying anything. If that happened to you, would you hope that people would be more forgiving and understanding, or would you hop on the bandwagon of making fun of yourself? And that can be so damaging, and in some cases more damaging than the large groups of people one, because it's so personal. It's not like, oh, people hate me because I'm one of the people that wears these hats. It becomes something about me personally, and that gets processed differently. And so in this middle tier, this medium, I encourage you to just try to stop and notice when other people are doing it, and notice when you're doing it, and see what you can do to consciously move yourself into a place of forgiveness and tolerance. And in most cases, a lot of this stuff is done almost for entertainment of the art, the sport of bullying. And it may seem harmless, but a lot of times, if you zoom out and look at how many times you've harmlessly bullied someone, it's quite a trend that makes quite a difference. And so taking a step back, as always, and approaching things a little more thoughtfully, a little more patiently, a little more compassionately, will make a huge impact on your life and how you view things in general, and on the lives of the people who've been the victims of these attacks of hatred. And the third one, this is what I'm calling tiny hate or small hate. And this is the like, oh, I hate those shoes. I hate those shoes. I hate when people dress like this. I hate when people have a voice that bothers me. Like, oh, I hate her voice. I hate his hair. I hate these little things. Some of them are things people can control. Some of them are things that people can't. Some are things like the DMV. I hate the DMV. Or like, this is a lot of observational comedy of I hate, what's the deal with X? And I hate this. And it's not even that you really hate it, like the definition of hate, like, oh, don't get me started on the DMV. It's just what you say when you want to talk about something. And that right there, the end of that sentence, is, I think, what that third thing is that motivates hate beyond greed and ignorance, but community. And I think a lot of people hate things because of the sense of community that can come along with other people who hate those things. And for some people, it's things like white nationalism, where by buying into that, you have camaraderie with people who are around you, who feel the same way, who think the same way. And by being against Trump, for example, like there's people who, you can start a conversation, and I've had it too, where I'm on a film set or something like that, and then somebody makes a comment about what boneheaded move Trump made, and I have a sense of like, okay, we're the same. We see this the same, and there's community there, and that I think is one of the big reasons to get on these big trains of hating groups of people and ideals is because we just want to have community with other people who do the same thing. And then the medium stuff and like bullying individuals, communities there too, where in high school you pick on somebody, you make fun of them so that you can laugh with a bunch of other people at that person, that one person. And from that you get the community of like, oh, I had a laugh with all my friends at so-and-so's expense. And that sense of community is there once again to say, let's keep doing this, because last time we did it, we all had a good laugh, and we got closer. Now we have this inside joke, and later when that person's not even around, we can bring it up again, laugh about it, and have more community and more connection. And even in that teeny tiny third category of hate, of I hate people's shoes and hair and the DMV, and don't you hate it when someone cuts you off in traffic, all these things, the reason you say a sentence like that to someone else is not so that they understand where you stand on the DMV. It's so that they can say, me too. I also hate that. I dislike that. And that last one is what led me to this sort of umbrella principle over the whole thing, about community and the solution. And for me, working with Tim Dean, the coach I've worked with a couple times, he didn't let me word anything negatively when we were having our sessions. And if I said like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet, even that, he would say like, that's negative. How can you rephrase that as a positive? And I rolled my eyes and found ways to say like, I'm better equipped for different things right now, or I'm really good at something that's not that. And while it was new age eye rolly nonsense to me at the time, it really did start to have an impact on how I viewed little things. And then I tried to switch to say the little things that I hate. When I would talk to someone, be like, oh, I hate when so-and-so are like, oh, I hate that TV show. Anything like that, I'm just saying to have a connection. And if I swap that word hate for love, I get the exact same thing. I get to bring up what I'm talking about. We get to have a conversation about it. Only instead of labeling it with this negativity, I'm labeling it with this positivity. And it goes back to the solutions of the other ones of understanding and fear. And when I look at, if somebody wears an outfit that I think is really stupid, I could say like, oh God, I hate that outfit. What does that do for me is where sometimes I think it comes from a place of jealousy of, I wish I could wear that. I wish I could pull that off. I wish I had the confidence to wear stuff like that, but I wouldn't be caught dead in it because I'm scared. I'm scared of what people would say about me, and they're not scared of that. And as soon as you start to flip these things and understand that a lot of the times negativity is a tool to get you to community, you can start to unwrap it a little bit and say, can I still get to community without the negativity, without the active hatred towards someone or something, without that aggression? Is there a way that we can find happiness together in relationship that exists without that underlying darkness? And so I needed to make this video so that I can make my next video, which is about the thing that I've hated the most for a very long time. But I had to make this first video to understand, as I've been reflecting for the past few weeks, of what is hate and what does anyone get from hate. So if there's something that you hate other than intolerance or violence, what is it, and do you really need to hate it? Is it something you appreciate or you're interested in, or you want to know more about, and you're just quickly dismissing it as saying, I hate it, because that's something you can say to someone and have that connection? So that's all I got thanks for making it through these. Again, I don't want my channel to be just soapboxy preaching like this, but I'm going through some stuff, as a lot of people are, and I've had a few people tell me that these things are helpful as I think about these things aloud. So thanks for, if you made it this far, being patient and your understanding, and for anyone who's commented on all these things. It means a lot to me, and to know that the conversation has value to someone other than me, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.